So, hello everybody. We have been discussing the chapter on polarization, and we have discussed different types of what is polarization, different types of polarized light, and what is the difference between a polarizer and an analyzer. And we have discussed Malu's law, Brewster's law, etc. So we have been discussing the different methods of producing a linearly polarized light. Different methods of producing linearly polarized light, that is polarization by reflection. We have discussed in our previous class, and we have discussed in this regard we have discussed Brewster's law and Malu's law. Okay, so next we are going to discuss is polarization by refraction, that is pile of plates and stack of plates. Then we'll discuss double refraction, then polarization by selective absorption. Okay, so hope you have understood our classes on Brewster's law, that is tan of polarizing angle is equal to refractive index of medium, and you usually used to have problems from this section. So the next portion that we are going to discuss is polarization by refraction, pile of plates or stack of plates. Suppose we are having an unpolarized light which is incidenting at polarizing angle. What happens? The reflected rays will be plane polarized, and you will be having refracted ray which is partially polarized. And this partially polarized ray is again allowed to pass through. You can see in this picture, and this partially polarized light is again allowed to pass through another plain glass sheet which is kept parallel to the first one. So again it will be incidenting at a certain angle such that reflected ray will be completely polarized, and the refracted ray will be more polarized than the previous one. And this process is repeated so that the refracted rays are allowed to pass through 15 to 20 such glass plates which are arranged parallel to each other. Then the refracted ray which is finally coming out of the crystal will be completely polarized. Okay, reflected ray will be polarized with the when the angle of incidence is polarizing angle, and the refracted ray when allowed to pass through a large number of stack of plates having 15 to 20 glass plates, the ray which is finally refracted ray which is finally coming out of the glass plate will be completely plane polarized. This is how we are going to get the polarization by refraction, and you can see the components perpendicular to the plane, and we will have components parallel to the plane. Experimentally, this is the method of producing plane polarized by light by refraction. A pile of glass plates are arranged parallel to each other, and light is allowed to fall on this, and the light which is at least transmitted and which is coming out here will be plane polarized. Okay, so it is the next method, and you can see the picture clearly. Reflected light is polarized, and the refracted light which is coming out is completely polarized. Okay, so the next important topic is polarization by double refraction. There are certain materials calcite, quartz, etc. And what happens is that when light is unpolarized light is passed through certain materials like calcite, quartz, etc. On entering these crystals, the light gets split into two, and these rays are known as extraordinary ray and ordinary ray. And this phenomenon is known as double refraction. Instead of a single refracted ray, you will get two refracted rays, and this phenomenon is known as double refraction, and it is also known as, you can see a new term here, it is birefringence. Double refraction or birefringence, and it is shown by certain crystals like calcite or quartz. And thus we obtain two rays, and what happens is that one of the ray obey all the laws of refraction, and it is called ordinary ray, and the other does not obey ordinary laws of refraction, and it is called extraordinary ray. Okay, actually One ray is called the ray which satisfy all the laws of refraction is called the ordinary ray, and here the ray which is refracted is the ordinary ray. And here I think I've made a mistake here. This one is the ordinary ray, the refracted ray, and here this one should be the ordinary ray. When I'm sending out the PPT, I'll change it. Okay, this one is the ordinary ray, and this one is the extraordinary ray that does not follow the obey the laws of refraction. And here it obey the laws of refraction, get deviated its path, and it is the ordinary ray, and this one is the ordinary ray. Okay, and there the two rays will be, and these two rays, ordinary ray and extraordinary ray and ordinary ray will be plane polarized, and they will having the plane of polarization which is perpendicular each other. It is understood this will be having vibrations perpendicular to the plane, and this will be having vibrations parallel to the plane. So these are shown by only certain light passing through certain materials or crystals like calcite and quartz. And you can see the phenomenon of double refraction. Light path going through, this is the incident and polarized light, and what happens is that, and on hitting the crystal it gets split into two, ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. And you can see ordinary ray obeys all laws of refraction, extraordinary ray won't obey the laws of refraction. So it is a new term that we have discussed in the class, that is birefringence or double refraction. It is the phenomena of splitting up of a ray of light into two rays, the ordinary ray and the extraordinary ray, when it passes through certain types of materials such as calcite crystals, boron nitrate, depending upon the polarization of light. Okay, and this phenomena is direction dependent. And you can see the calcite crystal here. Calcite crystal is one of the best crystal which is showing the phenomenon of double refraction, and it is a carbonate mineral, and it is calcium carbonate basically, and it is the molecular structure. And this is how when you see the calcite crystal, it is a very transparent crystal, and you can see when you're looking through a pencil through a calcite crystal, what happens is that this is the phenomenon of double refraction. You can see two images, and what happens is that if you're rotating this crystal, I'll show the video. I'll just give the link of the video in the comment box of this phenomenon of birefringence or double refraction shown by the calcite crystal. You just watch the video. So it is a calcite crystal and birefringence, and when we are rotating the crystal, what happens? One of the image which is produced by the ordinary ray remains fixed, and the other image, this is the other image which is produced by the extraordinary ray, it rotates with the crystal as it doesn't obey the law of refraction. And there is also another experiment you can try out. You just keep a ink dot on a white piece of paper, and you just view that ink dot through a calcite crystal which is very transparent. You can see in this picture, you can see two refracted images of the crystal, two refracted images of the ink dot, and on rotating the crystal, one image, the image which is produced by the ordinary ray remains stationary, and the other image which is produced by the extraordinary ray rotates along with the rotating crystal. The stationary image is due to ordinary ray, and the rotating image is due to extraordinary ray. And the ordinary ray travels with constant velocity in all directions, while the extraordinary ray travels with different velocity in different direction. And what happens next is that both of these two rays travel with the same velocity along a direction, and this direction within a crystal is called the optic axis. Along optic axis, when light is incidenting along optic axis, what happens? You can't see the double refraction since both the rays are traveling with same velocity. For all other direction, double refraction takes place except along optic axis. Since extraordinary ray and ordinary ray travel with different velocity, they will be having different refractive indexes. And you can see the calcite crystal. It is it is having a rhombohedral crystal symmetry, and it is one of the hydrated calcium carbonate, and it is having the angles 102 degree and 78 degree respectively, and two corners will be having obtuse angle, that is 102 degree. Obtuse angle means angle greater than 90 degree, and these corners are called blunt corners, and you can see the picture here. Okay, and these corners are the blunt corners, and the line drawn through this blunt corners is called the optic axis, and you can see 102 degree here, and here will be having an obtuse angle. Here also you will be having an obtuse angle, that is A and H having obtuse angle. This is a rhombohedral shape. It is having a rhombohedral crystal shape, and when we are drawing a line from A to H, this direction gives the optic axis, and along when light is passing along this direction, what happens? There won't be double refraction, and there won't be what? Ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. But for all other directions there will be ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. And for again for rhombohedral crystal, what happens? And for a rhombohedral crystal, A equal to B equal to C, but alpha, beta, gamma not equal to 90 degree. Okay. And two angles will be obtuse, and this corners having obtuse angle is known as the blunt corners, and the line drawn joining these two corners gives the optic axis. Okay. So another arrangement which produces the what polarization, and here you can see once more, I'll show you the two rays will be plane polarized, that is ordinary ray and extraordinary ray will be plane polarized, and the plane polarization of these two will be perpendicular to each other. And next is polarization by selective absorption. That is, now so far we have discussed polarization by double refraction or birefringence, and selective absorption is also same phenomenon of double refraction, but here only one ray will be produced instead of two rays. In double refraction you will get two rays, both of the rays, ordinary and extraordinary ray coming out of the crystal will be plane polarized. Here what happens is that what will be coming out of the crystal will be only one ray, the other ray will be absorbed. And this phenomena is shown by Nicoll prism. It is an arrangement. Nicoll prism is an arrangement to produce intense beam of polarized light using the principle of double refraction. It uses the same principle of double refraction, but it produces an intense beam of plane polarized light. And again, in this Nicoll prism also, a calcite crystal is taken. And here for obtaining a Nicoll prism, we take a calcite crystal whose length is having 3 times its width. It is having a bigger length. The crystal is then cut into, then what happens is that the crystal is cut into two halves. And next is the cut faces are joined together. The crystal is cut in this direction into two halves. You can see a change of color. This is the region where it is cut, and it is joined together. And this joining is very important. It is joined together with the resin of a fir tree. It is some sort of a gum obtained from a fir tree, and it is known as Canada balsam. It is a very customized material, and it is joined together with the resin of a tree, which is some sort of a gum, and it is known as Canada balsam. And it is having refractive index 1.55 for normal yellow light. And for calcite, and this is Nicoll prism is made up of calcite crystal, and normally ordinary ray and extraordinary ray travels with different velocities. It will be having different refractive indexes. And for ordinary ray, the refractive index is 1.66, and for extraordinary ray, the refractive index is 1.486. So another description is also given here about Nicoll prism. Nicoll prism is a type of a polarizer. an optical device used for generating polarized light, and it was first fabricated in 1828 by William Nicholl, and it is made up of the rhombohedral calcite crystal with its length 3 times its width, and it has been cut at an angle 68 degree. It is cut at an angle 68 degree so as to split it diagonally, and it is joined together using the Canada balsam. And this is what is happening. And here what this is what's happening, and what happens is that light is incidenting, and this calcite crystal, and this light gets split into ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. This is the ordinary ray obeying laws of refraction, and this is the extraordinary ray. And the extraordinary ray, Canada balsam, is having a refractive index 1.55. Extraordinary ray is having 1.486, and ordinary ray will be having 1.66. Light is for ordinary ray. What happens? Light is traveling from denser medium to a rarer medium, and it undergoes total internal reflection. And for extraordinary ray, light is traveling from a rarer medium to a denser medium, that is 1.486 to 1.55, and it passes through the crystal. It passes through the Canada balsam layer. That is, the ordinary ray gets reflected off completely, and extraordinary ray which passes through the crystal, and thus producing intense beam of single plane polarized light of extraordinary ray. That is, ordinary ray is completely reflected out, and what will be coming out other end of the Nicholl prism will be the extraordinary ray. Okay, this is why we are cutting it and joining with the Canada balsam so as to completely reflect out the ordinary ray. The Canada balsam, also called Canada turpentine or balsam of fir. It is a resin obtained, or turpentine obtained from the resin of balsam fir tree, and it is dissolved in some sorts of essential oil, and it is very sticky, and it can be used as a glue, and it is transparent, and it is having high optical quality, and it is having a refractive index 1.55, nearly same to that of glass, and it is very pure, and it act like a when dried it is used as a glue for glass. Okay, this is about the Canada balsam. And the phenomenon of double refraction produces ordinary ray, extraordinary ray. Ordinary ray obeys the laws of refraction. Extraordinary ray does not obey the laws of refraction. Ordinary ray is plane polarized with electric field vibrations perpendicular, and extraordinary ray will be having vibrations parallel. Travel with same speed along all direction. Extraordinary ray travel with different speed along different directions. And refractive index mu is equal to C by V0 as a constant value, but refractive index changes with direction in the case of extraordinary ray. This is important. It is a question that is usually asked for exam, the difference between ordinary ray and an extraordinary ray. And you are well familiar with the Polaroids. Polaroids are materials used for making what? Producing polarized light. And basically the commercially obtained Polaroid is made up of a plain sheet of heraphthite crystals which is embedded between the transparent cellulose sheet. It is all technical, no need of worrying about that one. And what happens is that it will be having a lot of molecular chains, and when light is incidenting with electric field vector making an angle theta with the optic axis of this crystal. It is made up of a crystal, and the light is electric field of the light is making an angle theta with the optic axis. What happens? It can be resolved into two components. If E0 is the electric field, what are the components you are getting? E0 cos theta along the optic axis, and E0 sin theta perpendicular to the optic axis. And what happens is that all the components which is parallel to the optic axis pass through this crystal, and those components perpendicular to the optic axis will be absorbed, and what will be getting will be plane polarized light outside. So, and this sorts of crystals are fixed between very thin glass plates. And you know the applications of Polaroids. We have discussed in our first class. It is used in sunglasses, it is used in headlights, it is used in the windows of trains and aeroplanes. It is used in LCD displays to protect our eyes. It is used in our laptop screen. It is used in our, Android phone screens and all. Okay, this is what is happening there. Light uh, incidenting will be having perpendicular components and parallel components. Perpendicular components will be completely cut off and parallel components pass through. And this is how we can reduce the glare of the light from the road when we are driving with this using sunglasses. I just request and recommend all of you to use the sunglasses while driving. It will provide very soothing comfortness for you while we are using this sunglasses while when going out on a sunny day or while driving long distances in your motor vehicles or cars and all. And it is the photography, the polarization in photography. We are using the polarized glass plates and all in your cameras and all. You can remove unwanted glare of light and giving us the good effect. Okay. So crystals are divided basically into isotropic crystals or anisotropic crystal, or any material could be characterized or classified as isotropic medium or anisotropic medium. What is an isotropic medium? The properties of the isotropic medium remains the same in all direction. An example is glass, water, oil, etc. These mediums are isotropic medium. What happens next is an isotropic medium. That is basically they are crystalline nature, and these are the materials that shows different properties and different directions. These things of double refraction and anisotropic crystals are everything linked. An example for anisotropic crystal is what? Calcite, quartz, mica, tourmaline, topaz, etc. So all these materials showing double refraction, that is properties remains different along different direction, means it is anisotropic crystals. And moving into detail, if the arrangement of atoms differ in different directions within the crystal, then the physical properties of the crystal may vary in different direction. Thermal conductivity, electric conductivity, refractive index, etc. are the physical properties that depends upon the crystallographic directions. So, basically materials can be classified into isotropic and anisotropic, and anisotropic crystals are further classified into uniaxial crystals and biaxial crystals. These are all qualitative things that you need to just go through. That is, I think I told you these are all connected. In doubly refracting crystals, the ordinary rays and extraordinary rays propagate with same velocity along a single direction, and that direction is the optic axis. And for uniaxial crystals, there will be only one optic axis. And example for uniaxial crystal is calcite. We have seen quartz, tourmaline, ice, ruby are all examples of anisotropic uniaxial crystals. So anisotropic biaxial crystals means they will be having two optic axes or two directions along which O ray and E ray propagate with same velocity. An example for biaxial crystal is mica, topaz, borax, etc. Mica, topaz, borax, everything is for a qualitative study. And again you can classify the crystals. That you made a classification isotropic and isotropic. And isotropic is further classified into uniaxial, biaxial. And again on the nature or on the extent of birefringence, crystals are further classified as positive and negative crystals. The quantity birefringence can be represented by delta mu. It is the amount of double refraction in a crystal. Delta mu is basically defined as mu e minus mu o. That is the difference of the refractive index of extraordinary ray and ordinary ray. And you have seen for a calcite crystal, refractive index of ordinary ray is greater than for the extraordinary ray. And the classification goes like this way. For positive crystal, what happens? Ordinary ray travels faster than extraordinary ray. Ordinary ray travels faster means what? Refractive index of ordinary ray will be smaller. That is mu is equal to C by V. V is large means mu will be small. So ordinary ray travels faster than extraordinary ray in positive crystal. So for positive crystal, refractive index for ordinary ray will be smaller. So that is refractive index of ordinary ray is less than the refractive index of extraordinary ray. So what happens? The quantity mu E minus mu E will be what? Mu E minus mu E will be a positive quantity. Okay, that is why it is given the name positive crystal. Example is quartz, magnesium fluoride, etc. And next we are moving to negative crystal. Here the reverse of the other. Extraordinary ray travels faster. That means refractive index of extraordinary ray is smaller. So the quantity mu E minus mu O becomes negative. Okay. The example is what? Ruby, sapphire, etc. Mu E is less than mu O. Here mu O is less than mu. We just go through. This is the basic difference between positive and negative crystal. If you need to know more about why this is happening and all, you can refer through the text, that is Brijlal and Subramaniam. And if you are having any doubts further, you come to me in group or you can come to me personally. Okay, so this is all about today's class. We have discussed refraction, polarization by refraction, polarization by double refraction, polarization by selective absorption using Nicol prism. So hope you have understood. Okay, go through the classes, post your doubts or queries in your classroom. So we'll get back to you with our new topic, that is wave plates, quarter wave plates, half wave plates, etc. So thank you all. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.